by way of explanation, but he must hope their return to Bankwest for the first time in nearly a month can help turn things around. Mark Rudan has had his own issues to deal with, of course. A little spat with Robbie Fowler last week. But before we get into the team news, we are just going to take a brief pause to remember two firefighters who lost their lives battling those terrible bushfires in Buxton this week. Andrew O'Dwyer and Geoffrey Keaton, both of the Horsley Park Brigade, both gave their lives to protect others. They will be missed and they will be remembered.
Our whole community supports you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, our thoughts with all of those affected by those terrible fires right around the country. And reminder, the RBB are going to hand over a cheque for $30,000 today to the firefighting appeal. A great initiative by the Wanderers fans. But what about their team? Can they get the job done tonight? The pressure is certainly on, and Marcus Bubble makes 3 changes as he tries to turn things around. One enforced, with Bruce Kamau sidelined by a hamstring injury and headlined by the return of marquee Alexander Meyer for his first start since early November. He will partner top scorer Mitch Duke in attack in a revamped 4-4-2. Further back, Tate Russell gets his first action of the season at right back, and Daniel Lopar returns in goal after illness. As for Western United, more straightforward for Mark Rudan. They're unchanged, with Josh Risdon and Scott McDonald still on the injury list. Brendan Hamill returns to the club where he spent 5 years captaining the Red and Black on 28 occasions. Besart Berisha has 12 goals in just 18 appearances against the Wanderers, including 5 in his last 4. And there is another former Wanderer, Jonathan Aspro-Potamitis, on the bench for the visitors. Western United in their change strip tonight, and thankful, no doubt, given that they're on the road again, for a change in the temperatures, which are a fair bit cooler today in Sydney. Had a blisteringly hot day yesterday, which must have made training difficult for the Wanderers. A very intense huddle by the home team. These last-minute instructions could be crucial on such an important night for the Red and Black. In amongst that huddle is Matt Yearman. That's Mitch Duke, of course, who is their top goal scorer with 4. But Matt Yearman facing a familiar foe tonight. He spent 2 years at Brisbane Roar, of course, earlier on in his career, where he was a teammate of a certain Besart Berisha. I wonder if they will go head-to-head tonight. Midfield could be a crucial area as well, and talking of which, what about this young fella, Jerry Skotadis, retaining his spot in the Western United midfield for the 3rd consecutive week. He's another with Wanderers links, having played for their NPL team a couple of years ago. And our referee tonight is the Iranian emigre, Ali Reza Fagani, who gets us underway. A crucial 90 minutes for the Wanderers, and potentially for the future of Marcus Bubble. And given their need and Western United's approach in recent weeks, Andy Harper, might this just be a touch attritional, at least in the early stages?
Well, it could well be, Simon. It'll certainly provide Western Sydney Wanderers with a chance to correct the record, a very public record, a very ugly public record this week. And what better opportunity for the players than to pull their boots on and to make a statement. There'll be a lot of nervousness. There would have been a lot of adrenaline flowing in the dressing room and in the warm-up. And they must make sure they channel that properly, particularly in these opening exchanges. Try not to be chasing the game.
just play the game, not the importance of the game.
And it's a very, very good point, Simon, and not to play the issue that's been bubbling around this week. It's a very well-made point.
So who's going to prove to be the best Western? The red and black or the green and black? Will Mark Rodin's team continue in a rather defensive mindset? That's not to say that they can't attack. But last week they were very circumspect, and it worked a treat, to be fair, against Brisbane. And that's a lovely touch by Yurtets to free up Skotadis, and now it's the dangerous Alessandro Diamanti. Any team has a chance with him in their side. Same can be said for Panayotis Kone, who returns it to the Italian. They create the space for Connor Payne. They've worked this beautifully, and only Daniel Lopar denies the opening goal. Panayotis Kone arriving late into the box. It was beautifully constructed by Western United. The efficiency of movement of the visitors, and again Diamanti instrumental to it. If there's a better player in the league at the moment, Harps, I don't think I've seen it.
Well, there are a few good ones floating around, including some of the younger brigade coming through, but he's peerless when it comes to CV and experience, and he's really delivering for his team.
And he's earned his side a free kick, courtesy of the foul by Keanu Bacchus. Here's that earlier opportunity created so effortlessly, it seemed.
Well, just a real lack of urgency from the Wanderers here, which is a worry. A minute in, given everything.
There he is again, Daniel Lopar. Made more difficult saves, according to the stats, than any other keeper in the competition. I reckon that counts as another one of those. Here's Diamanti with the set piece. And it's not his best delivery, although he's saying to his teammates, why didn't you attack it? Here is Mark Rodin, indulged in a bit of colourful language last week. Safe to say his childhood hero, Robbie Fowler, might not be on his Christmas card list. Saying he indulged in colourful language. Wasn't actually there to hear it, but that was the rumour.
According to sources.
Yes. Spins up in the air and towards Kwame Yeboah on the right for Western Sydney. And he creates a metre to get away from Connor Payne. Cross slightly overhit, perhaps. Georgievski linking up with Duke. Behind them is Keanu Bacchus. Further back still was Ziegler. Schwegler. Bacchus within range, but they slip it through for Georgievski. And it's Brendan Hamill at the near post for Western United.
Well, first opportunity with the ball, and the Wanderers look composed. They made a similar incursion down their left-hand side as Western did in the attack, first minute in.
There's Marcus Bubble, whose swear jar has also been full this week. Increasing exasperation with the reportage, the VAR. Most importantly, his team's inability to jag a result. This is Panayotis Kone, boxed into a corner by Tate Russell, and Ersan Gullum draws the contact from the youngster and wins the free kick. Smart bit of play, actually, from Gullum. He looks cool enough, doesn't he, Marcus Bubble? And there's his assistant, JP De Marini, who's been a big part of those headlines this week. Labanot Haliti, one seat further down. And then Davide Del Giovini, the goalkeeping coach, makes up the Wanderers' brains trust. He's even got the suit on tonight, Harps, perhaps showing that he means business. He's done away with the Peaky Blinders chic.
Well, it's warming up, or it's cooling down, or maybe he had a corporate event to go to beforehand.
I can see you in that flat cap, by the way. You don't own one of those?
Not a broad enough protection. So.
You prefer the Cobra, don't you? Here's Mitch Duke. Nicely finding Bacchus. That was the wrong option by the Wanderers midfielder.
Oh, they've moved the ball well, however, and with Western United's form of the last couple of weeks, the Wanderers could expect to get a fair bit of possession in their attacking half.
Looking for and receiving the referee's whistle for the contact of Schwegler. Yeah, Western United had just 28% possession against Brisbane last week. But were pretty comfortable in the end. Brisbane just running out of ideas. And they did something similar second half at least against Melbourne Victory the week before at home. It's a style of play that doesn't always find favour with the purists, but when it works, I don't think the coach cares. Here's Diamante, shut down by Duke. Not afraid to do his defensive duty. And the Wanderers now looking for a foul, but nothing doing. And it's with Ersan Gullum. Kona looking to sweep it across field, but Georgievski had its measure. The clearance, though, has been picked up in the deep by Diamante, who's trying to clip it towards Connor Payne, arriving deep, and that was the combination that we saw for the first goal at Suncorp Stadium last week. Not quite the same quality on the delivery this time by the Italian. And the Wanderers spring forward. Tate Russell, first-time ball, precision too for Muller. And the German is less accurate with his release. I just wondered about the change of personnel and perhaps more importantly, perhaps the change in shape tonight for the Wanderers.
Well, it's, shape this, shape that. You've got to have enough players in the right parts of the field when the ball's there to do the business. I've never been huge for the discussion on formations. Just play to principle, keep the ball, attack well. Players have to be adaptable any time during the game.
Challenge from Gullum on Yeboah. That's the question of Ali Reza Fagani, and a little bit delayed was the whistle, but it arrived in the end.
Simon, just look at this. Low park catches, releases. I was very critical of Daniel in the Melbourne City match here for taking possession like that and then settling the game down. They didn't play with any pace against Melbourne City, not when they had the chance to. And in fact, that key penalty that was conceded came on the back of such slowing down of their own momentum. I'm not sure if they've changed this particular part of their play, but that was instructive to me. Catch and release, the Wanderers away. They've got to play with speed and intensity.
Well, they were trying to play that free kick with speed and intensity, but referee not allowing them to do so. So it's going to be the more conventional delivery now from Pyramid Schwegler. It's angled too close to Philip Curto. Who again was in tip-top form last week against Brisbane, making a couple of crucial saves. Diamante. Lovely. Beautifully over the top. Oh, Berisha. He would have been offside anyway. What about that release from Diamante again? He is such a good player. As befits a man who was part of the Italian squad that got to the final of those European Championships 7 years ago. He always plays with a smile on his face as well, which is great to see. He's clearly enjoying his time in Australia. A lot of talk this week about the fact that Western United haven't offered him an extension yet. You'd think they might be considering it at the very least. Here's Duke. Gobbled up by Curto.
A decent effort. Showed good appetite that by Mitch Duke, and Kwame Yeboah had just anticipated possibility of a fumble from Curto, who tied it up nicely anyway.
Oh, it's lovely from Duke. Little back heel for Georgievski. Might break for the Wanderers again. And it's deflected behind. Nikolai Muller with the effort. It's going to be a Wanderers corner.
Yeah, they've set it up nicely. Just wondered here, Georgievski really narrowed the percentages by that ball into the traffic. The Wanderers players in each other's way, not through any fault of anyone's really. Maybe Daniel might have charged down to the byline from that position.
Schwegler thinking about the short corner. Ziegler and Yerman have taken up positions looking to attack from around the penalty spot. Curto fists it away. It's good distance on that clearing punch as well. Back in low by Russell. Keanu Backus has his effort charged down by Andrew Durante. They'll go again through Georgievski. Clearing header by Hamill this time. Drops for Connor Payne. Western United trying to get out, but Wanderers not on where they want them at the moment. But Aaron Calver's intervention changes all that, and Western United have themselves a throw.
An important bit of muscle there from Calver. Really important bit of hired muscle. Slightly off balance were Western United, and Georgievski gets decent control of that ball. They would have been able to launch another attack.
Look at that ball again from Diamanti. Kona. Here's Payne. Borussia waiting in the middle. And out it goes off Patrick Ziegler. He's retained his spot again ahead of Dylan McGowan alongside Matt Yeoman. All came about again through Diamanti's ability to find a teammate and find space with that rangy sort of a release. Connor Payne flattened, but Kwame Yeboah continues. Schwegler, or rather Muller, I should say. Yeboah again, building nicely here, the Wanderers. Mitch Duke on the right, and cross deflected behind for another corner off Durante.
Good sweeping attack. Really good sweeping attack from a pressured situation in defence. Burst upfield nicely. And then there's really good momentum in these Wanderers attacks. Kind of deflection off skipper Durante, and Durante might have had something to save in the Western goal.
Wanderers' second corner. Earned by Mitch Duke and about to be delivered by Nikolai Muller. And there was a free header there for Keanu Backus, but quite have the power or the direction to take it past Curto.
Well, that's one really good chance per team. First minute, we saw Western United cut the Wanderers to pieces with a great chance, forcing a good save from Lopar. Really good chance to score there from Backus. Quite testing Curto in the same way.
Just that step back, taking him away from his marker, creating that space. Keanu Backus. Ziegler, little glance behind him to see where Borussia was. Sees it out safely.
Well, he's given a goal kick. So if it's not a free kick, isn't it a corner? Did that not come off Ziegler?
I thought it did at first glance. Let's have another look.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
So if it's no free kick, it's a corner.
Yeah. And the free
What's
kick
doing there,
clearly
Simon?
Was not given.
Well, it was a goal kick. He's awarded a goal. So what's he watching?
Here's Kwame Yeboah. A little step over, takes him clear of Skotadis. Western United rescued by Ersan Gulab. Here's Georgievski. Charged down by Diamanti. Backus. Tate Russell venturing forward down the right. He's had to check that run. On the ball now. Should be Curto's. He and Aaron Calver with a bit of miscommunication.
Well, very comfortable for Curto in the end, but not a bad option or execution from Tate Russell. He'll need to get his first team legs back and quick smart. But again, he saw the corridor available and he decided to drop it in for Meyer. He'll appreciate that intent. Well, the big German.
Rare mistake from Andrew Durante. Turning back towards his own goal and didn't really have a look. This is Schwegler. Russell again free on the right. Yeboah might drive towards goal, force a little wide. And the shot, unfortunately for the Wanderers, is horribly wide.
Well, I can only suggest that Kwame Yeboah, who started quite brightly here tonight, had zero idea of how much space he worked for himself there. Horribly off balance. Another good incursion by the home team.
Maybe Tate Russell was the better option. Jurman and Borussia. First little exchange of the old Brisbane teammates. Touch back by Alexander Meyer. Still waiting really for a big German to catch the lights in this Hyundai A-League. Maybe tonight is the night for him. Ziegler injecting himself into the attack momentarily. Georgievski. Duke to swing it in, but Hamill was guarding that near post area. And again, Western United happy to cede territory. We've seen this pattern develop over the last few weeks. It's a smart turn by Muller. Just ever so slightly behind Russell, but he still gets the cross in, and Alexander Meyer got his head on the end of it, but couldn't get the direction.
Well, it continues to appreciate it. Slightly behind him was the ball. Well done, Tate Russell. Muller starting to find his feet. Nice turn, then drives into the space. Perhaps held the pass a little longer than Tate Russell wanted, but he still does something really decent with it, the young right back. And Meyer, a handful in those situations. Towering presence. Couldn't quite control the header. Well done to the youngster.
Philip Curto is getting somebody a spray out there. I'm not sure whether it's the opposition, the referee, or his teammates. Meantime, furthest forward for Western United is their right wing-back, Aaron Calver, who will get the free kick. Calver continued to deputise for Josh Risdon on that right-hand side. He did well last week, claimed an assist for Besart Berisha's goal, which was the second on the night. Square by Durante. Hamill gets it back off Calver. Should favour Russell, but Kone got front position, and Berisha was backing into Schwegler. Duke somewhat boxed in on that far touchline. Dario Yurtets. Curto didn't get the greatest distance on the clearance. Helped further along by Yurtets. And there's Jurman and Berisha again. Well, they might have been teammates once. I'm not sure it's too friendly just at the moment. And that's why.
Best to his feet. Hey, Matt.
What you doing?
What about all those post-game parties we used to share with each other? Yeah, well, you gave me a elbow. There's more coming, Bess. There's more coming.
Keep your eye on that particular duel. Diamante. He believes he was taken out from behind. He remains prone on the turf. The Wanderers don't care about that. It's Duke sent scampering wide left. Wasn't the quality release. And now Western United will continue their protests. And while Diamante gets some attention, and there's a break in the game, we'll go down to Adam Peacock, who's been earwigging the two coaching benches. What's being said, Adam?
Not a lot from what's to my left, and that's Marcus Bauer, because he's basically hasn't left his seat since pretty much the first minute, and it's been pretty quiet over there. The man that's been active has been Mark Rudin, who hasn't sit down. He's giving fourth official Stephen Lucas a bit of a gobful at the moment for Diamante being continually fouled when he gets the ball, but he's at pains, Rudin, to tell his team keep the ball for his liking. Last week in Brisbane they gave it away too much in that first half, even though they went up 2-0. He just wants them to play a bit more controlled in possession.
Thanks, Adam. He's the most foul player in the competition, Alessandro Diamante.
Well, that's only because Robbie Cruz missed the first 7 legs.
Slung in by Russell, but too deep. Just very interesting to read the body language there of Marcus Babbel. It's almost like he's in a bit of a trance down there in the technical zone, or maybe he just feels, well, I did all my talking during the week. He's out of his seat now, at least. Wanderers fans are not booing Marcus Babbel, I can tell you. They're booing Western United because they're delaying the restart. Kone is penalised. They're coming together with Schwegler, and there's going to be a booking here for the Greek international.
Key battle. It's been a key battle, this one. It's turned physical. On this occasion, the referee has seen a stray forearm from Kone. There's a little elbow to the jaw there. He didn't miss him. Sees him coming. Little feel at first, and then Schwegler comes in and just gets the point of the elbow. Not a lot of force in it, it seemed to me, thankfully.
Certainly not a swinging elbow, but he's caught in nonetheless.
Now that's a key battle, because he is holding a high line, Kone, as a midfielder, when Western United are trying to play out from the back. And the Wanderers have pressed high to force the long pass. That long pass invariably is heading towards the Greek international, and the Swiss international is the job of bottling him up. And it's just turned physical.
Even Schwegler, who was at the centre, of course, of all the VAR drama a couple of weeks back. There's that incident again, and he's certainly clocked him on the end of the conch, hasn't he? It's a penalty given for the handball against Wellington Phoenix late on, which cost the Wanderers a point. But he's back up and about and involved here tonight. Given away by Georgievski. Berisha stretching but can't reach it. That's the midway point of the first half. Wanderers have been on the front foot for most of the game. It's an intelligent ball in by Muller, laid off by Maya. Yeboah can't profit from it. Bacchus lets it squirm away from him. And Diamante is shot down from behind by Mitch Duke. And now Western United are saying, well, how about that for a card?
Yeah, I didn't like that one from Mitch Duke. Diamante getting a bit rolled as well. Very experienced player, so he'll brush it off. Concentrate on winning the game, but Mitch Duke stretching right across, never going to win that ball legally.
Intensity of the game sort of shows what it means to both. Maya, fancy, was just shaping there to backheel that ball into the path of his compatriot Muller.
Well, the pleasing thing about watching the big guy in these opening exchanges is, when he's not been brought here for his mobility, but he's been able to get front position 2 or 3 occasions now, when a few weeks ago, start of the season, he might have struggled to do that.
Here he is again, linking up with Bacchus, who just couldn't drag the ball around to keep it under his spell.
And not for the first time tonight, Maya with a really clever touch. His support run couldn't deal with it. It's decent from
First
Bacchus.
one wasn't bad either for Bacchus, was it?
Unfortunately, if he could average the 2 out, they might have had something.
Keanu Bacchus, the reigning Wanderers Player of the Year. That was 18-19, of course. Not that they had a whole load of standouts last season. Here's Yerman. Not an awful lot of movement up ahead. That's why Gullum's quite easily been able to break it up. Western United trying to spring into action down the left, but can't find Kone. Here's Muller. Daniel Georgievski comes back off Hamill. Diamante gets the whistle again. Swiss international against the Italian international, and I'm not sure the hand of friendship was very warmly received there by Diamante.
Well, he hasn't.
He's had a bit of treatment, hasn't he?
He has had a bit of treatment, but he's had it all season, and he's never ignored an opponent's hand.
Well, maybe that little hand action there from Tierman Schwegler indicated that the Italian had dived as the explanation for that. United on the back of 2 straight wins, of course. They've Yet to win 3 in a row in their short A-League life. And they are 0 from 3 against teams from New South Wales. Losses to Newcastle, the Mariners and to Sydney FC. Tate Russell sticking tight to Panagiotis Kone, and the reverse is true as well. Here's Bacchus, good little spin to take him clear of Yurtets. Bit of space here for Georgievski. Duke darts towards the touchline. Georgievski will use him now. 3 in the middle, one of which is Bacchus, but he can't control the effort on goal.
Yeah, so good for the Wanderers up until the penalty area, and then the nerves constrict, the blood vessels tighten up, the belief and the quality just evaporates just enough for Western United's goal not to be threatened.
Visitors' decision to play out from the back from the goal kick has cost them field position again. Here's Matt Yerman, he's going to have a go. He's scored an A-League goal in 4 years, nearly 5 actually. Trying to tidy up, but he's presented the ball back to Mitch Duke. Scruffy passage of play from both teams. Bacchus lets it run. Schwegler. Kone arriving on the blind side. No foul given. Berisha to bring it clear. Connor Payne on the left. Kone offering support. Just too many bodies in the way for Panagiotis Kone. With Western United having committed some numbers upfield, a chance perhaps for the Wanderers to profit. Yeboah. Sends Russell a touch wide. Back they'll come through Ziegler. To say that's disappointing, Andy, is a bit of an understatement.
Yeah, kinder than I would have been, Simon. But he's shown a lot, actually. Very stop-start time to his Wanderers' career with injury, but you'd imagine fully fit is going to be a rusted-on member of the defence. Barble would have to be not completely settled, reasonably happy to the way his team's played in this first half.
Kone wants to take the throw in quickly, and does so, but Ziegler wouldn't allow that and gets in the way and earns himself a rather needless yellow card, which has him under pressure now for the rest of the game.
Yeah, ref with no choice. It was Ziegler whose woeful cross gave the ball away, and upfield come Western, and he's picked up the yellow card. You can understand why he haired and acted the way he did to stop that attack, showing requisite desperation, if not the most sound judgment.
Western United created just that one solitary opportunity. It came after just 2 minutes. It's probably the chance of the game so far, in fairness, despite the weight of Wanderers' possession and territorial dominance. This is very much how the A-League new boys tend to play the game. When you've got talent like Diamante, Kone, Berisha, you've always got half a chance, Andy, of sneaking a goal from somewhere. Kone steals the ball on the blind side of Tate Russell. Maybe one of those situations is about to develop. Aaron Calver on the right. Kone bombing on beyond him. It was clever by Diamante, but well read too by Duke. Georgievski digs the ball out. Wanderers deal with that one quite easily, and now Mitch Duke with a very clever ball. Putting it in around Brendan Hamill for the run of Georgievski, who squares it up now for Kwame Yeboah. Held up, though, easily in the end by Yurtets. Or rather, Skatadis, I should say. Western United too casual in possession. Duke's cross steered away by Gullum.
No, it's on a little bit of a knife edge, this wasn't, isn't it? Because any mistake that the Wanderers look to make, the experienced, high-quality attackers of Western United look just as likely to hit them. But Western United themselves defending deep, passing their troops in the penalty area, very difficult to get through. But for a couple of, I think, poor decisions from the Wanderers, haven't really been tested.
Yerman onto the head of Yeboah. Away on the half volley by Durante. Look at that for a touch from Kone. That is absolutely delightful. Well, you know what? That was worth the entrance money alone. Those two bits of skill from Panayotis Kone, absolutely superb.
Yeah, brought it down beautifully. Knew exactly where the space was by having a look before the ball got to playable distance, and then in the one-on-one situation wins the free kick very effectively.
Here he is again. Dario Yurtets. Oh, little touch around the corner from Diamante was delightful as well, of Berisha. Well, if his control's better there, he's got a real one-on-one chance against Low Park.
You've got to look at Ziegler's starting position then. He's very relief man, the German. Just horribly behind the speed of play there. He didn't read Diamante at all.
I'm not sure Berisha did, to be fair. That was so good.
Yeah, well, it was a great pass. But it's on those lapses of position, of concentration, that have bitten the Wanderers fair in the bum over recent weeks. And Ziegler's lucky he got away with that one.
There's Diamante. Whistle against the Italian this time for holding. And it's the other way around. Reza Fagani disagrees. Let's have a look. I think the ref's got it right. Keanu Bacchus. Ziegler just had a little glance at where Tate Russell was. That's the right idea from the fullback, just slightly overcooked.
Well, he's had a number of good opportunities. I think he's operating at about 50% at the moment, though, with his delivery, Tate Russell. First start of the season, very promising youngster. Difficult set of circumstances when you consider the tumult around the Wanderers this week. He's been very, very strong at right fullback. He's delivered some good moments, but with a could do better report card on a few others.
Here's Payne. Again, that insistence on playing out from the back from the goal kick very nearly caused a big issue for Western United. I'm going to get Andy's thoughts on that particular tactic in a moment. Let's just see how that Wanderers attack develops. It's beyond Duke. Partly cleared though. It's a good stretch that by Yurtets. And now Diamante on the move. Searching and finding Panayotis Kone. Promising move this for Western United. Kone too high for Berisha. Chested down by Georgievski. Cleared by Bacchus. Neatly controlled by Skatadis. Back they'll come through Connor Payne. Yurtets leaves it for Hamill. They'll start again through Durante. Now Gullum. Kone just taking his time to wander back from an offside position. Wonder whether he's picked up a bit of a whack. He's actually instructing his teammates to play the ball out so he can get some attention. And that does give you the chance, Andy, just to ask you about Western United and a lot of teams in the A-League. Insistence on playing out from the back, despite heavy pressure. Sometimes it can bring problems. I know that we're conditioned these days to play out from the back.
Yeah.
But sometimes is it better to vary it up, or is there a specific reason behind it? Is Mark Redan trying to draw the Wanderers players in so that they can spring into a counter? You explain it to me.
Well,
I've given you about 3 different theories there, so...
well, he's been consistent in his desire for his team to keep the ball, and that's the start of it. And if he's going to be true to the instructions he gives, then he has to be consistent with the expectations he sets.
Even if it's implicitly dangerous. I mean, there are 2 or 3 times when the Wanderers have been very close to turning the ball over, and then you've got a goal-scoring opportunity close in.
Yeah, except that it hasn't bitten them yet.
Well, not yet.
If you're going to be pragmatic about it, and I think one description of Ruden's coaching is a healthy dose of pragmatism. But he wants his team to keep the ball and play, not only just to attack, but it minimises the opportunities that your opponents have. The fact that they're giving it away in those situations would be an issue of quality control rather than him going back to the philosophical drawing board.
I should point out, I'm not anti-playing out from the back at all, but
totally.
Just sometimes when the opposition applies the high press, it just seems a bit counterproductive to my mind. But anyway, I mean, this is a case in point. That's fine.
Yeah.
There's no pressure on the ball.
This is a really long stoppage in play. We've restarted now for Panagiotis Kone. He's injured. I'm not saying he's not injured, so let me get that on the record. But he indicated to his teammates, kick it out. They kicked it out. It took forever for him to then walk back to halfway and go, what's doing here, ref? Like, who's running the show?
That's a beautiful touch, though, by Kone, who's back with us.
Now, in the post-match spat, which you've already cited, Brisbane Roar, Mark Rudan. Here's the foul, yellow card for Schwegler. Robbie Fowler made comments that he thought, well, what's the word? The game management, the experienced Western United players dictating the game's momentum by long restarts, injury breaks, and you know what? I reckon Robbie Fowler hit the nail on the head. It's not just Western United, although they've got a couple of...
Time waster, we used to call it. Yeah.
They do have a couple of clowns in the big top on that discussion.
Incidentally, Pierman Schwegler has been cautioned whilst we were just having that little discussion. For a foul a couple of minutes ago. And now Mark Rudan is up in arms. Jerry Skotadis had a swing at the ball. That's why the Wanderers have got the decision and completely missed. Schwegler some moments ago didn't, so that's why he's been cautioned. Here's Yerman. Deflects out of play off Aaron Calber.
Kone mightn't be long for this game, actually, however. To wit my point. I'm not questioning whether he was injured or not. Looks like he's going to make way for Burgess. Well, Burgess is getting ready to come on.
Here's Duke. Oh, he slides it back nicely. Yeboah, and he blazes horribly over the top. That might be the Wanderers' best chance of this opening half.
Well, Kwame Yeboah, very exciting player. Enjoy watching him, but he's been incredibly wasteful here in this first half. This is the prime act of that wantonness. But around the box, generally has had a heavy touch. Decisions haven't been great. Maybe in his defence, he's assuming a lot of the burden to score goals and relieve the pressure on the team. But, geez, that was a haymaker.
Well, your instinct is correct, Harps. Panagiotis Kone is done. And Max Burgess is with us, former Sydney FC junior, back in his home city. I have to say, despite the very valid point you make about a long time it took to get treatment for Kone, from a game's point of view, I'm disappointed Kone's gone off because he's been terrific.
No question. However, Burgess has been outstanding this year, and I'm looking forward to him seeing some decent game time. I'm with you. I wish it wasn't at the expense of Panagiotis Kone.
It's going to be a foul on Burgess. Let's go down to Adam Peacock, who might have more news on that injury.
Yeah, Kone, he's getting you can see it on the camera now, it's just the outside of his left, just above the knee. He did have a hamstring issue earlier in the season where he missed a game as well, a minor one, so it might be a reoccurrence in a lower area than that. But he knew straight away. As soon as he got up the first time, he went, yeah, I want to be changed. And there was a bit of confusion there. Max Burgess was down getting warmed up. But, yeah, right, you said about Max Burgess, he'll give plenty. And it's a player that Mark Rodin trusts a lot from his time in Wellington last season. Yeah, I don't think they'll lose much with Max.
No, he's a good player. And knows the city, as I say, very well indeed. Won an NPL Grand Final in Sydney in 2018 with Sydney Olympic. He was a big contributor to that success story. Under the leadership of the legendary Abbasad. Another foul, this time on Maya. Georgievski just wouldn't sit for former Newcastle Jet and Melbourne Victory player. Wanderers looking to avoid equaling a club record tonight. 6 straight losses, their worst ever run. Now that might have come off the hand of Connor Payne. Kwame Yeboah didn't appeal too much. Alexander Meyer certainly asked the question. And the issue for the VAR, and I'm sure they will look at this, as Chris Griffiths-Jones in the VAR booth tonight, is whether those hands are away from the body, in an unnatural position, making himself bigger. You know the drill.
I know, and how can you say they're not? How can you say they're not? The only thing going for him is he had no time to react, but I don't know if that counts anymore.
Well, the Wanderers have had some big VAR calls go against them over the last 3 weeks. We're yet to get a definitive view on the handball against Payne, but there were certainly appeals from the Wanderers, that's for sure. On we go. Patrick Ziegler assessing his options. Can't find a teammate. Steered back some 50 metres to Daniel Lopar, who's been almost a spectator bar that early save that he had to make from Panagiotis Kone. Pretty good one it was too. Schwegler floated forward for Duke, but Durante was strong. Calver's release is beyond Durante, back on the Wanderers on the attack. Duke turns it around the corner. Muller trying to borrow through 2 or 3 bodies, but Burgess was too strong. Western United out safely. Barisha and Yerman in combat again. Georgievski. Wanderers back in control quickly again. Squared up by Duke. Schwegler, Bacchus. Out towards Tate Russell on the right. Yet again, the cross is disappointing.
Well, you know, a lot of work this half, but he's just dropped below 50% with that one, unfortunately. He swung beautifully.
Here's this penalty shout again.
Or did it even hit his hand on that angle? That's hit his face.
Yep.
So there you go. No case to answer at all.
Well, that was the angle we were looking for. And obviously, the VAR not even tempted to get involved. To first half stoppage time. Chance for you to give us your thoughts on the game overall so far, Andy. To see how this develops through Barisha for Western United. Burgess. It's the return of Skotadis. 2 in the box. Diamante. teasing delivery. Up in the air it goes from Georgievski. Burgess underneath it, but it's easy enough for Lopar. The floor is yours, Andy.
Thanks, Simon. Really good first half. The Wanderers have played some beautiful stuff, but the telltale signs of a team that have lost multiple games consecutively, lack of confidence in front of goal. They've prized open Western United's defence enough to have troubled the goalkeeper. Haven't been able to do that. Kwame Yeboah, the #1 culprit, but he's not alone. They're still very much in the game. In fact, on balance, dominating the football match and looking good as a result. They just need to find that quality in the final part of the field. It's a very common refrain in football. Mark Rudan will be irritated that his team hasn't kept better possession, but he'll be very robust in his supporting his team's defensive attitude and application.
Which has been spot on over the last few weeks after their own mini slump. Wanderers issue, they've only scored 1 goal in the last nearly 3.5 matches now. That was Nikolai Muller, who scored in the 2-1 defeat against Wellington. And that is half-time at Bankwest Stadium. It's been a very calm, very composed Marcus Bubble. I wonder if he'll be the same in the dressing room. Such an important night for the Wanderers. By and large, they've played well. Diamanti, though, has shown some delightful touches, along with the now departed Panayotis Kone. Kwame Yeboah has blazed one over from close range for the home side. At the other end, Kone had Western United's best chance. But at the interval here in Parramatta, it remains goalless. Western Sydney Wanderers 0, Western United 0. Let's go down to Adam Peacock.
Thanks, Simon. Matty Yerman, bit of pressure going into this game. Was it a controlled first half, the way that you wanted to control it?
Yeah, I think we've done pretty well, to be honest. We had a few chances we could put away. So we go into the second half with a positive, and yeah, we'll come out for 3 points second half.
You're having fun with your old mate Bessart Barisha up there. More to come in the second half?
Yeah, it's always a good time when we see each other. So yeah, look forward to the second half.
So do I, if it continues. Thanks, mate. Cheers. Enjoy half-time. We're off to the break. And Tara Rushton and Mark Bosnich are going to analyse that first half here at Bankwest. Home side on top. Nothing to show for it so far, though. Back in a moment.
Welcome back to your Friday night of football live from Bankwest Stadium. Well, it's all to do for that man right there and his players in the red and black, the Western Sydney Wanderers and Marcus Bubble. They find themselves needing a win tonight to break their 5-game winless drought. Welcome back, Tara Ashton. It's great to have your company and to be joined by Mark Bosnich. A little bit of pressure on the Wanderers in the lead-up, maybe a lot of it, you could say, Bozza. Have they responded in this opening half how you would have anticipated them to?
Yes, in terms of the fact of their general play. No, in terms of the fact I want to see more desperation. And that's not so much in defence, because the defence have been desperate, but in the attack side as well. Alexander Meyer, look, you know, I'm watching him in the back play. You probably, the viewers would have seen this, you know. You don't need to tell your players to go out wide or not. You just need to make yourself available. If you're too tired, you don't want to make yourself available, okay, you can stand still. But the times I actually saw you in the air, against Gulam especially, you've actually won the ball.
Yeah.
So it might need you basically to actually be accepting that, because when when Western United get back behind the ball, there are a couple of ways that you can break down a defence that's basically parking the bus. One of them is quick passing, okay? If that's not working, the other way is having a big man, right? It's not actually going to break them down, but you batter them a little bit. You start playing that long ball in. And when you're basically going to people, play it out wide, you're giving the opposition more time to get back. Kwame Yeboah as well. Decide. Play the ball or go yourself, but decide. You're being too indecisive. And just remember, they're playing 3 at the back, Kwame, I'll be saying. So when play is building up, I want to see you on the outside of one of those 3, well, specifically over here on the right side where he is, because that's where the space is. And when your fullback is running up alongside you, he's run a long way to get possession, unless you've got a very good reason or you can guarantee him you're going to hit the top corner, pass him the ball.
You mentioned it there, they have been, you could say, a little bit timid in their decision-making, Bozza, in terms of using Alex Meyer as well. Despite that fact, though, you would have to say the Wanderers have had the better of this first half.
They have.
In comparison to Western
They
United.
have, Tara, but in this 5-match losing streak, they've had the better of 3 games, in my opinion. They still haven't won, so it needs a little bit more. And like I said to you, that comes down to your attacking mentality is different from your defending mentality. You know, when you're attacking, you've got to be more relentless. You've got to be more sure. And when you get in good positions, you've got to take advantage of it. And they haven't done that. Have been the better team, but I'm sick of saying that about them, and they end up losing. And they've got to be very, very careful here. This is why the defence for the next 45 minutes, they've got to be absolutely spot on, because the least they must take out of this game is a point. But from an attacking perspective, you know, come on. You know, like basically, remember, you're playing against a team who like to get back in numbers and to slow the game down. They do that very, very well. I don't blame it at all for it. I think that's great what they're doing, no problem. You've got to outwit them with that. That means playing continually at a high tempo. Okay, even if you're exhausted, doesn't matter. If you think to myself, I'm exhausted, imagine how they're feeling. Okay, so the more you play it around, okay, every now and then you need a breather, no problem. But once you start to go, you've got to go, and you've got to keep moving them until the point where they get sick of it and make a mistake, then you have your opportunity.
Yeah, that's one of their strengths, isn't it, for Western United, how they can dictate the tempo of the play and how patient they are.
But there are ways to break it down.
Yeah.
Okay, and like I said, they've got a big man up front. Don't be afraid to knock the long ball to him. Then have your Mitch Duke, have your Kwame Yeboah going off them. If you're going to go the other way and play the way through them, it's got to be much quicker. And people are going to be much more sure about what they're going to do and how they're going to do it.
Looking from a Western United perspective, Alessandro Diamante, we know what he's got in his locker. A little bit of extra attention out there, Bozza.
Well, he has. He's a great danger, and we know that. And, you know, he needs special attention. I mean, Kone was absolutely fantastic for me, but unfortunately for Western United, he's come off. But in terms of Western United, you know, say what you like, and you know, the Wanderers have had the dominance of general play, but can you remember Philippe Curto having to make a really good save? He hasn't, has he? The only really good save has been made by Daniel Lopar.
Correct.
So they're comfortable, in my opinion, still. If I was at the back, if I was Mark Rudin, Philip Curto, I'd be going, this is no problem.
Just wait.
Just keep them going.
Yeah.
There's no problem. We will get another opportunity. And this time, we've got to be a little bit more deadly. But just remember as well, they're away from home. So it's not up to them to come out and to play. They're okay. If they get a 0-0 too as well, no problem whatsoever. So far as I'm concerned, yeah, they'll want a little bit more from their attack side. That's no problem. But the way that they play is going, in my opinion, pretty much the plan.
So from Marcus Bubble sitting in that dressing room right now, yeah, good signs, good build up to the box.
Yeah.
What's he going to be saying to the players
exactly
out
what
there?
I just said. Exactly what I just said, basically. All right, if we're going to decide, let's decide, okay? What are we going to do with the ball, right? So we're playing it around the back. Why? Because there's nothing on, because we want to have a bit of a breather. All right, fair enough. But just remember, when you do that, in football, for every action, there's a counter reaction. They're going to get behind the ball. Right, now we're ready to go. Okay, we're ready to go. But what are we going to do? All right, are we going to be just pedantic and just do exactly the same thing? Or actually we're going to, every now and then, maybe we're going to play a long ball to Maya. Maybe we're going to go off that, okay? I would keep attacking Calver's side, because Calver, as good a central defender is, he's not a natural fullback.
Yep.
But you're talking about, once they get set, they're 5 behind the ball. You've got a goalkeeper that comes out. You got Yurtek and Skatatis, sorry, who are doing magnificent work in that area. Kone was before as well. So it's very, very difficult. So when we go, all of us. And don't be afraid, because if you start causing trouble with some of those long diagonal balls into Maya, people are going to start to come towards you. Then when they come towards you, then what? Then we're going to play around them. And I would say to you, Bo, I said, listen, Kwame, you're talented, okay? But it doesn't always have to be just about you. Maybe you're going to stand in a position to take a player away for somebody else.
Yeah.
Okay? And when you're fullback, if I was his fullback, I mean, Tate Ross just come in the team. If I run 70 metres to get the ball and he continually doesn't pass it to me, I'll be telling him, don't worry about it at half-time, buddy. You I'm not going to run anymore for you. Simple as that.
I dare say a huge second half coming your way live from Bankwest Stadium. What do the Western Sydney Wanderers have in their locker? Can they find a way to break the deadlock and break that winless streak against Western United? So much more football heading away live on Fox Sports. And don't forget, it's all heading away across the weekend. We've got a huge Christmas derby live right here.
Christmas in Melbourne only means one thing. Yep, the derby. Winning it, nothing better.
Thompson is onside. Great chance for the victory. It's Thompson! Hart's nemesis back to haunt them once again.
Losing? Well, that hurts like hell.
Back in by Duganzic, and there's Portaloo to win the derby for City!
Once it was all about us. Victory. The big boys. Muskie throwing tantrums. Besser banging in winners.
There's the winner, surely, for Melbourne victory, and it's Besser for Richard. Who else? He lives for days like these.
But times have changed. These boys in blue never seen pressure like it. And City, they're flying. McLaren, wow. 10 goals in 6 games?
Oh, what a finish, Jamie McLaren. That is sensational.
Saturday at 5, Melbourne's biggest rivals are at it again. Another Christmas classic. Right here on Fox.
Welcome back to Bankwest Stadium, where the Wanderers have huffed and puffed for much of the first half. Had lots of territory, fair few efforts on goal, but the score sheet remains blank. And oh, to have been a fly on the wall in the Wanderers dressing room at half-time, Andy Harper.
Yeah, well, you know, the closest we're going to get to that is hearing Adam Peacock's report, I'm sure, to which we're all looking forward. But I thought they were very good in the first half, keeping in step with a lot of their football in recent weeks. Pleasingly for them, they've tightened up the errors at the back. There's only one that I could recall error in anticipation and positioning from Ziegler, which didn't go unpunished. Which went unpunished. Otherwise, they've been, you know, very focused defensively.
I suppose the flip side to that is that Mark Rudan will say, well, how many times has Philip Curto been actually tested?
That's exactly the point, and that's the other part of the form that hasn't been that desirable for the Wanderers. Good passage upfield, no confidence in front of goal. That'll change in time, sooner rather than later for the Wanderers fan. Mark Rudan will be happy with the way his team defended, and they look dangerous in these situations. Capata's just stumbling on that one, however.
He manages to work it out towards Connor Payne on the left, who has Burgess in close attendance. Through Skotadis. Squared by Gullen for Durante. Hamill. Urtets. Western United have lost just one second half all season. They've been very dogged in their defensive duty. They've won the ball back quickly here as well. Maybe signalling a little bit more attacking intent in the second half. Berisha with Ziegler half asleep, and Payne is in on the left here. And his first touch took him a little wider than he wanted, but it comes off Tate Russell's, and Western United have their first corner of the game.
Sloppy start from Western United. From Wanderers, rather. This ball forward nearly really hurt them. Berisha spreading it wide nicely. Good recovery by Tate Russell to hit the corner. But when Andrew Durante is dribbling up through midfield to join the attack, the Wanderers pinch it. They don't even look for a second like trying to expose the hole that Durante has left behind. Indeed, Durante wins it back.
Urtets his corner.
Which leads to the sequence of winning the corner.
Aaron Calvert showing delightful skills before he was cut off at the pass by Nikolai Muller. Look at the intent by Western United to try and force the issue in the early stages of the second half. Here's Connor Payne, popping in the right fullback position. It's a miscontrol by Hamill. I wonder if Mark Rudan's tactic has been the old rope-a-dope. The first half, sit back, take the sting out of the Wanderers. Second half, go for it. Here's Durante again, injecting himself into the midfield. And the Wanderers' problems this season have been in the second half of matches. They've conceded 10 of their 13 this season in the second 45 minutes of games. Lovely release again by Diamante. It's almost his trademark. That crossfield switch seems to do it really without even looking. Well overhit by Ersan Gullup. Rudan not best pleased with that. Had a season out of the A-League, of course. Ersan Gullup first came back with Adelaide, and then last year didn't play in the competition at all. Did play in the winter season as a player coach for Whittlesea in the lower levels of the NPL Victoria. Helped get them promoted as well. Diamante with a rare errant touch. And it's Tate Russell on the right for the Wanderers. Kevin Schwegler. He was one of three players cautioned in the first half. Georgievski, Bacchus, Schwegler. Wanderers building nicely. Russell on the right. Meyer in position. Near post. Here is the big German. Russell again. Durante's clearing header. Lovely touch by Diamante. That's asking an awful lot of Bessam Berisha.
It is, but that was sumptuous from Dimanti. Maybe if I had Bessard Berisha even 2 seasons ago, that might have been something more likely, but his control and turn was just immaculate.
And it just buys your team that vital half second, doesn't it, to reset as well, when you have a touch as sure as that. Schwegler. Back through Ziegler. Aaron Calver, always the favourite there, and he'll try and burst through midfield. It's a useful looking ball as well. Nice tail to it to release Max Burgess on the left. Burgess attacking Russell. And then the Wanderers a little slow to react, which caused some angst in the home crowds. They get it away now, and Meyer will help it on towards Georgievski. Maybe they can try and exploit Western United's committing of players upfield. Mitch Duke is going to get away from Kwame Yeboah, though.
That's poor again from the Wanderers, not Yeboah this time. The otherwise industrious Mitch Duke. Frustrating for Barble. These are the million-dollar coaching questions. Set your team up to play a certain way, but get a goal at the end of it. And how do you get into the players' heads or set the tone where they manage to find the target more often than not from good situations? At the moment it's not, but it'll turn. They've got to stay in the game till then, however.
It's not a particularly good ball by Yerman. Straight at Durante. Burgess. Wanderers are back in position and set defensively. It's really the last thing the Wanderers need is to fall behind. Then the pressure will really start to build. Here's Burgess. And Connor Payne has skipped clear of his marker. Needed a better delivery than that. It's swept away by Matt Yerman for now. Clever header by Burgess to put the pressure back on the home side. Yurtets looking for Calver at that back post, and he did win it in the air. Hooked away by Yerman. Nodded back by Meyer, squared up by Bacchus. And the pressure is relieved on the Wanderers. We said we wanted to be a fly on the wall of the changing rooms of the Wanderers at half-time. Adam Peacock wasn't quite, but we'll nickname him the Fly nonetheless. We'll go down to him in just a second, Adam. Let's just watch how this develops through Georgievski. Meyer and Georgievski. It's going to be a corner. Quickly, Adam, off you go.
Yeah, well, at least I got wings that I can use in the air instead of just being a peacock stuck in the ground. But Western Sydney Wanderers, not a lot. I mean, it's going forward and then just making the right decisions. They were overall pretty happy with the way that first half went. It's just making decisions. The coaches can't actually go out there and make them do that. As for Western United, just better decisions early in transition to make that first, second pass stick. And yeah, a bit to work. You've seen Andrew Durante come up as well and be a bit more proactive in trying to turn the ball over as Wanderers are playing out. So that was a tactic too for Wanderers. But Western Sydney, happy.
Thanks, Jeff Goldblum. Google it if you don't know. Here's Georgievski. Set up nicely for him.
And that's the other thing I would be asking the Wanderers to do. Try not to walk the ball in. That's not necessarily going to break you out of this goal-scoring funk. Shoot from distance. Drag the defenders out. Believe in yourself that you've got a good shooting technique and you can test the goalkeeper. At least frighten the defenders that they've got to start leaving the penalty area and those surroundings to come and pressure the ball. Very difficult, as we've seen in recent weeks, throughout the course of the season, that Western United are very difficult to pass through.
The first goal, oh so crucial tonight. Wanderers desperate that it's going to be them that gets the breakthrough. Has been this season, right from the pre-season in Western Sydney. No excuses. If they were to lose tonight, so they were starting to run out of them. Here's Berisha. Calver. What a good ball by Aaron Calver. Guides the pressure back on the visitors. Mitch Duke.
The other thing,
off Hamill.
So the other thing about Western is when they do lose the ball, they are very quick at getting players into the penalty area defensively, like extraordinarily quick. You don't get much chance to hit a pass into vacant space in transition. If you don't take it when it's on, you're going to have to trudge your way through the quagmire thereafter.
Well, the Wanderers fans sensing the need for a bit of help from the stands and lifting the noise volume around Bankwest. So they earn another corner front of the red and black block. Slight emotion from Hamill, just caught Duke on the way through and left him a little bit of pain on his way down. Maybe just roll that ankle. In by Schwegler. Out by Hamill. Take Russell. Payne was flattened by Yerman. Looks to be in a fair bit of discomfort.
Well, I think this was given for offside, not for any foul. Nevertheless, look at the decision. It's a restart in favour of Western United, who are in no tearing hurry to get this game going again. The one thing from the Wanderers attack, Simon, that I would be looking for more is Nikolai Muller. How to get him more in the game, particularly against a packed defence. This is where your talented ball players really should come into the discussion more, and we haven't seen enough of him. A very, very capable player, German international, speaks enough to his quality. The Wanderers haven't been able to find a way to consistently, regularly feed him the ball and say, righto, Nikolai, you go do your stuff.
Here's Ersan Gulam doing his stuff at the moment. Turned out by Burgess towards Diamante.
And just to emphasise the point, having played without the ball by comparison, Western United have been able to get even Max Burgess onto the ball, way more than the Wanderers can get Muller onto the ball.
Burgess, a pretty neat, tidy player with it. He always looks to me as though he never plays with his socks fully pulled up at mood points.
Touch of the Chris Waddles a bit.
Yeah, sort of that languid gait as well, hasn't he? Foul by Schwegler. Just has to watch his step. Accumulation of fouls. He is already carded. Almost an hour played. Maybe a crucial set piece coming up. Wanderers need to be focused. Calver and Durante looking at the back post. Diamante towards that part of the pitch. It was Hamill who got on the end of it. And then there's a high boot by Gulam. He looked to finish acrobatically. Nearly took Georgievski's head off.
At least the Alice band, which is a greater crime.
Georgievski. It's a return off Duke. Left a little bit short, which almost opened the door for Calver, but they've made it good, have the Wanderers, but it needed a better delivery from Duke. Gobbled up by Curto. He knows it. No goal in his last four since scoring against Western United, Mitch Duke, but operating in, probably fair to say, a wider area tonight, with Meyer restored to the starting lineup. Just remember that one real chance for Alexander Meyer in the first half. Header that he put wide. He's involved in the build-up here, though. It's a good touch, too. Into the path of Bacchus. And Muller trying to protect it, and he's bowled over by Payne. It's going to be a free kick and a booking for Payne. And a real good chance brewing now for Western Sydney.
And this, Simon, is why they've got to find Muller. He works this beautifully. Look how he positions his body. He sees Payne coming, gets himself into the advantage position, draws the foul. He's filthy. He couldn't actually keep his feet and get into the penalty area and shoot. But that's the sort of expert play that your game breakers can deliver. Will it break Western United's resistance from this set piece?
It's a sort of a challenge that will go down well with the local rugby league team that plays here during the winter. What a good position this for the Wanderers. Can this be the moment? Philip Curto has to get that wall set absolutely perfectly. Do they go for precision or power? Is it going to be Schwegler? Is it going to be Meyer? West on tenterhooks, and Meyer, well, he did hit the target, but unfortunately for him, part of the goal where Philip Curto was stationed. And the corner is the only reward for Western Sydney. Top marks to the keeper. Muller's corner this time. Curto came for it, but his defender beat him to it. And it pops for Russell. Western United still pretty deep. Slung into the box, Ziegler climbs, but Durante wins it. And subsequently Burgess, but didn't get enough purchase on it. Here come the Wanderers again, and over the top it goes this time by Kwame Yeboah. Or rather Keanu Bacchus, I should say, my apologies.
Well, he's claiming a touch through it. But this is better. Look, zing the ball around, quick feet, angle on goal, force, some desperation from the keeper. I don't see much of it. Oh, was there a save by the keeper? Definite save, should have been a corner. Where's the VAR when you need it, Simon?
Listen, don't start with that. Goodness me. That game's lasted about 4 hours.
Well, the ref missed a clear save by Curto there.
Curto's filthy. That doesn't get added to his tally.
This is the other point, isn't it? Yeah. Is he paid by the save? Because he just got his salary docked.
Scotardis. Durante.
And decent save, just quietly. Unfortunately, because it's given as a goal kick, we don't get to celebrate the excellent goalkeeping there. To deny Keanu Bacchus, rather.
Kieran still playing in South Africa. The Kaiser Chiefs, I think. Burgess quickly on Schwegler's hammer. Russia can't profit from it. Russell is going to get away though from Yeboah. Dug out well by Yurtets. Now Berisha. Oh, and cut out by Duke. Risky ball that by Besart Berisha. Forward stream the Wanderers, it's Duke on the left, waiting for the runners to arrive, cross deflected though by Hamill. And Western United survived quite comfortably in the end. And then an error ball by Diamante, who's trying to atone for that. Loses out to Schwegler. These are crucial moments you fancy in this contest.
Sure.
Both teams pushing.
But again, look how quickly Western regroup. And Mitch Duke.
Which Western, Andy?
Well... That's another discussion. What a great touch that from Burgess.
A touch around the corner by Diamante, and again it maybe just caught Berisha slightly unawares. Calver on the right. Held up by Georgievski. Steered back through Hamill. Durante looking to reward a little down forward of Calver, who thumps into the back of Georgievski. Surely a foul. Play allowed to continue. Yeboah ran into a cul-de-sac there. Sliding in was Burgess. Handball the verdict against Max Burgess. Started with Sydney FC, didn't get really many opportunities to play first team with the Sky Blues. There are an action tomorrow in Wellington. Of course, they've got the big Melbourne derby as well. City against Victory. Perth and Newcastle, a late game on Saturday, and then the Mariners Adelaide round out the weekend on Sunday. Brisbane have the bye, which Robbie Fowler is unhappy with. Yurtet's has gone down lane, and the cuddles are for Daniel Georgievski from Diamante, because Georgievski didn't have to put the ball out there, but sportingly he did.
Well, heavy contact.
Leg on knee, isn't it, on Yurtet's?
Steaming in their ball there to be won, to Warriors fighting for possession.
Nice to see there's still good sportsmanship involved in an intense game such as this. Diamante was very quick to express his gratitude to Georgievski.
Will he return the favour by...
Just about to ask that same question.
By committing to hitting one less defence-splitting pass.
Right. Yeah, probably not.
Does the chivalry continue to that?
I thought you were about to say, will they give the ball back? Western United, they're better.
Because that was set up nicely for a Wanderers attack. Well, of course, we wish Yurtet's is not seriously injured. Tough out of the cheeks, and a knock on the knee.
Yeah, I think it's just an impact injury, isn't it? Unheralded work he does in that defensive midfield role alongside, well, increasingly these days, young Jerry Skotadis. They provide a really good platform for Mark Rudan's team. As the as-live lad at this point, if it stays this way, would keep the two teams exactly where they are. Western United would fail to close the gap on Melbourne City, and the Wanderers would stay outside the top six for another week. Well, that is unless Wellington get absolutely hammered by Sydney at home tomorrow. Let's quickly go down to Adam Peacock again. What you got for us, Adam?
Bessart Barisha was about to come off then before that injury to Yurtet. They're not quite sure at the moment, the Western United bench, so Bessart was about to make way for Dylan Pieris, but he's told to stay out there and see if he can get his side the goal they crave.
Thanks, Adam. Keep an eye on that one. Yurtet's back with us and chasing Georgievski here. Not quite.
And again, the execution, not what's needed, but the decisions end up being rushed. And part of that, a large part of that, and I've got to give, again, repeated credit to the mobility and speed of recovery of the Western United defensive block. The Wanderers obviously not in great nick in front of goal. That stating the obvious, but it's hard for them to break out of this with the diligence of the Western defending United, that is.
It's the A-League's version of the green line. They're doing it expertly at the moment. Let's see if the Wanderers can find a way through. It's Pierre-Mitch Fagler. Wide right is Tate Russell. Aaron Calver couldn't afford to take a chance.
Not Mitch Duke's night. He's had 3 or 4 raids down the left. His cross hasn't been able to find a target. On that occasion, as soon as Russell hits it, Mitch Duke just apologises. Oh, I should have made the run, but I didn't. He's just not quite on song tonight, the skipper.
Wanderers' 5th corner. Western United have won just the one. Muller's ball in, and it's headed over the top by Matty Yerman. Have to wait a bit longer for that elusive first A-League goal since March 2015. You might remember the game he scored in. Absolutely crazy one it was. Sydney 5, Brisbane 4. At the Sydney Football Stadium. Ali Reza Fagani giving Philip Curto the hurry along. Georgievski. There's Duke Duke in front of him, who wanted it played a bit earlier than Georgievski was prepared to. He's then been collected by Skotadis, and Georgievski is really unhappy about that. Wags his finger angrily at Jerry Skotadis. Alireza Fagani's got his eye on that. Play continues for now. He might take action against Skotadis once this phase of play is over. Yerman out towards Georgievski. Heavy touch by Duke. Georgievski fired up down the left-hand side. It breaks for Duke here. Teasing cross, only partly away, and volleyed by Muller. Oh, wonderful technique by the German, and it goes agonisingly wide from a Western Sydney Wanderers point of view.
Well, Mitch Duke gets it right. Finally, the beautiful cross. The Western United defence under extreme pressure, and then up bobs Nikolai Muller. And this is why the Wanderers need to get him involved. It fell to him by happenstance, but he nailed it and came so close. Beautiful technique.
It's only about half a metre the wrong side of the post from the Wanderers' perspective. Scored just the once so far for his new club. And I'm in agreement with you, Harps. I think once he finds his feet, I think he'll be a real weapon for Marcus Babbel. As it is, it's going to be another delay here, or is there no? Dylan Parias was ready to come on, but the referee is saying, come on, let's get on with things. So Parias waits his turn. Forward he goes off Yurtets. Nice footwork from Georgievski. So too from Bacchus, but just outnumbered in the end. And out off Durante in the end. And they make that change now, Western United. Yeah. That's a change that Adam Peacock alluded to is going to become reality. So no goal for Besart Berisha today. 3 in his last 2. He takes his leave, and Dylan Parias is his replacement. There he is, the 19-year-old. All his 7 appearances this season have come off the subs bench.
And on the evidence of those substitutions, Simon, this change by Mark Rudin has the real potential to decide this game. Incredible speed across the ground. Rudin's played the card. Wanderers pushing in, pressurising around his team's penalty area, and a quick release to the youngster in space, and it could be all over Red Rover.
What can Schwegler provide from this latest corner for the Wanderers? Flicked off the head of Aaron Calver, I think. Skotadis was first to it, but Russell too strong and no foul given. And they'll get another go, the Wanderers from the other side. Pressure building on Western United. It's going to be Muller this time. With the outswinger, Meyer, Yerman, Ziegler, all looking to attack it. And Ziegler underneath it and cleared by Payne off the line, but referee Fagani had already blown the whistle.
Yeah.
The ball had already gone out?
No, the clean out on Gulam by Meyer as adjudged by the referee.
Connor Payne wasn't to know that, of course. That's why you have a man on the post, as Mark Bosnich repeatedly tells us. Drifting towards the last quarter of an hour at Bankwest. Here's a chance potentially for Diamante. Clips it forward, looking for Parias. In the end, the Wanderers sorted out rather easily. Matt Yerman just a touch too strong for the youngster. Forward gallops Russell on the right. Squared up by Schwegler. Back is for Georgievski. Schwegler again. Got it behind the ball for Western United. Georgievski. Good intervention by Calvert. Ziegler looking for an option. Schwegler, it's a lovely little drag back, and he gets away from Yurtet's. Advantage played. Giado Bacchus, and it cannons off a Western United defender away for yet another corner.
That's a beautiful turn. It's just delightful. Hacked to pieces afterwards by Yurtet's, who's obviously recovered from the knock he took.
Meantime, attention required. Whether Ali Reza Fagani might have considered putting Dario Yurtet's into the notebook for that. Sandy Durante has been flattened by that shot by Bacchus. It was a pretty untidy foul by Yurtet's.
Yeah, it's a good point, Simon. Should that go unpunished, even though the advantage is played?
Do you want VAR for that one?
No, just the ref to make a decision. That'll do me. Always does. And then
he's got it straight in the wash, hasn't he? Andy Durante. I wonder, there's a look of concern on the face of Mark Rudin. They'll take their time over assessing Durante, which is only right and proper. Scored that goal, of course, his first in 5 years against the Wanderers. Back in round 5, breaking a 120-game drought. I'm not even sure he'd even remember it at this current juncture. Let's quickly go down again to Adam Peacock.
Yeah, thanks, Simon. A bit happening down here. There's more opinions actually flying around from the players and coaches and referees than talkback radio. But firstly, with Western United, their tactics, we saw it last week in Brisbane, actually, just taking the air out of things and really taking their time. Not suggesting this one with Andrew Durante. He's obviously been whacked in the head. Apparently he's okay. They've got the thumbs up from the physio. But just in general, with goal kicks and restarts, they really take their time and make it frustrating for the opposition and the fans. They get on it as well, so that's one thing to look out for in the next 15 minutes. Just one thing, back up to you, Harps, on this one. We saw a guy, young player Mo Adam, against Melbourne Victory, probably Wanderers' best performance of the whole season. He was superb on that evening, and since then, pretty much, he's been a peripheral figure. Is he someone that can potentially come on and break open this contest?
Yes, Adam, would you'd like to think so. The value of Alexander Meyer up front is a clinical finisher. He's not going to break the line with his leg speed, but you'd like to think Meyer can finish off some of this work. If the delivery can be a little better, that's the first challenge for the Wanderers.
That's the issue, isn't it? It's not been the right delivery for him. Let's see if Muller can provide it. It's near post. They've got it this time. It's Patrick Ziegler, the other German, or one of the three, I should say, that has broken the deadlock with just 12 minutes left. And look at the joy. Look at what it means to the under fire Wanderers.
Well, very strong in the air in his own right. It's a near post touch on. Brilliant work from the young Bacchus. What a star in the making he is. But the headline will go to Ziegler, drifting in and thundering the header into the roof of the goal. 1-0 to the Wanderers, and tellingly, Western United's captain, Andrew Durante, the central defender, still yet to return to the field. A crucial absence from Western United, a crucial goal from Ziegler.
Well, has one German just lifted a whole heap of pressure off the shoulders of another? Boy, did Marcus Babbel need that goal. He's not showing any emotion outwardly, but inwardly you'd reckon there's one big phew, Andy. And you're right, that absence of Andrew Durante was maybe vital in that particular set piece. just when you need all hands on deck. Durante was missing in action, no fault of his own. Had to go off after having treatment. And now Western United really do have to come out and play. What a fascinating 10 minutes we've got left here at Bank West.
And Simon, the Wanderers have to continue to play. But given everything, given the huge few, as you called it, do they then go back into their shell and try and hang on rather than play their way through and keep Western United pinned down in their own half?
Well, the central defender who's largely been missing in action himself for so many months with that long-standing knee complaint. He's only ever been on the winning side once during his Wanderers career. That was his very first game against the Mariners back in December 2018. Could he have provided the springboard for a second?
And now with the lead, Simon, the Wanderers, his brilliant flick on from... How much more impressed can you be with young Bacchus? He is one of the stars of the league as a youngster. A lot of man love there. Good scene. Great result for Wanderers so far. That was handball, surely.
It certainly bounced up onto the arm, but Ali Reza Fagani unmoved. The Wanderers will be filthy if this leads to a goal. Dug out by Payne and Skotadis. Earns the foul, through the contact, cleverly done.
Sorry, Tom, very well won free kick. Very well won free kick. More than adequate touch away from the danger zone and then riding the challenge to win the free kick. But I tell you what, there'll be a pretty quick replay to the Connor Payne control if it was with the hand, if this free kick, which is eventuated maybe 4 or 5 passes later, ends up in the back of the Wanderers' net.
It's not quite the side of the penalty area that Mark Rudin would prefer for Alessandro Diamanti. So maybe Dario Yurtets is going to have a crack here. Daniel Lopar on red alert. Now, is this a rehearsed training ground move? Yurtets runs over the ball, seems to lose interest. Diamanti straight into the defensive wall, gets a second bite at it. Duke climbed tall and strong. The Wanderers defend that well. Skotadis can't get in around the outside. Duke fighting every single challenge on behalf of his team and now can lead the charge forward. Brendan Hamill got a very important touch in there.
It's a very committed passage from Mitch Duke, but he just ran out of juice. And now with Western United pushing forward as they must, Simon, the issue of a substitute for the Wanderers does now, in my mind, come into play. Because if Western Sydney Wanderers aren't going to be camped in the Western United half of the field in the penalty area, they will have some space to attack and run into. And on that basis, maybe Mo Adam is the man to look for, the youngster. Alexander Meyer is not necessarily going to hurt the Western United team from halfway. Mo Adam might.
Well, next change is actually going to be Western United's. Valentino Ewell is being readied on the sidelines.
This scenario is where you need that extra bit of speed with the Western United defence pushed up. In that transition, the ball over the top. What have you got to run that down and maybe put this one too clear?
Well, Ewell can certainly do that for Western United. He is lightning quick. Max Burgess, meantime, penalised. Here is that change. And perhaps a little surprised that Andrew Durante maybe still feeling the after effects of that blow to the head. Maybe it's just a tactical switch. They certainly need some attacking thrusts, do Western United, if they're to get anything out of this game.
Been a decent battle this tonight, hasn't it? Mitch Duke offside, but Duke v Calver. It's been a decent old ding-dong. Yeah, very excited to see Valentino Ewell, and then talking about Mo Adam on screen, and it's Ewell who gets on for Western United, and he and Piraeus Wow, what two athletes to have running into space for Western United. If they can just craft some possession, and with the likes of Burgess and Diamante, you'd have to think they're odds on to create some havoc from here.
Diamante, here is Yule, and he's onside. It just wouldn't sit for him, and Patrick Ziegler, a hero at both ends. In fact, the flag has gone up very, very late. Ziegler, testosterone pumping through his veins at the moment.
Well, he says, why the wait? Beautiful turn. There's the run over the top. It's offside. Does Ziegler know it or hope it's offside? That's a very late call.
Well, in fairness, of course, the linesmen or assistant referees are told these days to wait, and if necessary, let the VAR pick up the error.
Little snippet of the danger that Yule brings, however, offside or not. He's lightning quick into those 10-yard spaces.
Western United got left in the tank. Here's Diamante. They still have him, so they're always half a chance with him in their team. Payne making ground on the left. 1-2 with Parias. Payne again. Hangs it up beautifully. It's in! Aaron Calver! The ex-Sydney FC defender. Would you believe it? 1-1. What a ball by Connor Payne. And Marcus Babbel looks utterly crestfallen.
That's an excellent football goal. And as I was watching the attack, I'm trying to compare the Wanderers' retreat with Western United's retreat. And they haven't matched them. They just haven't matched them when it counted. Connor Payne with the best cross of the night. That's a beauty. The header is excellent from Calver, who caps off a super performance with an equalising goal here. But as that attack was shaping up, Wanderers laboured, couldn't get back in the same sort of numbers to deny that attack that Western United have done for a lot of the night. And that telling factor. What a great finish from Aaron Calver.
Well, he never lost a Sydney derby during his days with the Sky Blues, and has he just driven another dagger into the hearts of the team from the west of his home city. Marcus Babbel can scarcely believe it. His team had worked so hard for that advantage, and it lasted less than 10 minutes. And you have to give credit again to the resilience of Western United. They haven't claimed a point yet, of course. Still time to go. That's handball against Yeboah. But they've taken, Andy, 9 points from losing positions already this season. If they get a point out of this one, it'll be 10. And the heat will be further on the Wanderers' German coach with Fancy.
What has been really impressive in this Western United hit back is that as soon as they went behind, then they started pushing forward and caused trouble. And some people will be asking, why don't they play like that? Here we go.
Here's Parias. Could they win it? It was a teasing cross, wasn't it? But it was behind both Burgess and Yule.
Why don't they play with that proactivity from the start?
And look at Diamante organising. Not just his ability on the ball, but his experience and his vocal encouragement to his teammates. They quickly got them reset for that throw-in.
And hunger to win. You know, the flame's not dimming for Diamante. And Western will believe that they can finish the stronger of the two. It was a great counter-attack, and the Wanderers, not that they ran out of legs, but honestly, if you were to look at that facet of play, Mark Ruden's team, when they lose possession and play breaks down, tonight at least, they have regrouped and defended their penalty area really quickly. As Western United broke forward for that equalising goal, the Wanderers were just not able to plug the gaps as quickly and as effectively, and they've been attacking most of the night.
Mark Ruden, of course, a Western Sydney boy by birth. Watching Diamante's corner. Wanderers appeal for the ball to have already crossed the line, and the officials agree. We're about to tick over into stoppage time, of which there will be 5 minutes.
And plenty of Western Sydney Wanderers players warming up, but still no subs.
It's not often teams these days go through an entire match without making a change. Point would certainly be a good result for Mark Rudin. Less so for them. Not had an awful lot to cheer about in recent weeks. Yurtets and Skatadis for once getting in each other's ways. There's still time for the Wanderers. Not like that, there isn't. Army Yeboah off beam. There's a point enough to satisfy the Wanderers' hordes, or will the pressure grow on Babel?
Well, they're not out of jail yet. And of the two teams at the moment, Western United look the more likely to win. So a loss in these circumstances would be more than a hammer blow, you'd imagine, piling hot coals upon misery. But to this point, they've put in a good performance. They've played well, they got the lead. The question so far is no fresh legs. That would be my first one to Marcus Babel to this point.
It's almost too late for changes, isn't it, now? The Wanderers have got to try and win it with what they've got. Duke, clever ball for Bacchus. Back for Duke, needs to be a good delivery, and he couldn't find one. Steered away by Hamill, and now Parias looking to utilise that speed of Valentino Ewell. Ziegler matched him stride for stride. Daniel Lopez had barely anything to do. Talking to goalkeepers, Andy. Pretty sure that was Jimmy Fraser we just got.
Oh, it would have been. Was he awake?
I'll look I'll tell him you said that. Former Socceroos goalkeeper in the 70s.
I can only, he knows I'm joking. He is one of the legends. He's a legend in my mind. Great man, great player, great servant of the game.
Here's Nikolai Muller. Thumped goalwards by Schwegler, but Western United had bodies in the way. Here's Diamanti trying to shrug off the intentions of Schwegler. He's still got it, the Italian. How on earth did he manage to keep hold of that? I've enjoyed watching him tonight. Best on ground again for me. Here's Georgievski. Approaching the last 90 seconds of a tense night in Parramatta. Muller wouldn't quite stick for the Wanderers. Skotadis. Appealing desperately for the throw. Western United won't get it. All of their next 4 games are back in their home state across the Christmas period. So a point on the road will be seen as good business, particularly after taking all 3 in Brisbane last week. They're not quite there yet, though. Muller. Western Sydney starting to run short on time. Here's Yeboah. And fires into the side netting. It's been tough going second half, but Marcus Babel cannot get, it seems, the win he and his team so desperately need. He will have known, of course, all about Western United's tactics. No doubt got a phone call from his mate Robbie Fowler during the week. Maybe one final opportunity. Time almost up. Touched back by Duke, left it a little bit short for Georgievski, who makes it good. Sweeps it wide right for Russell. Is this the moment for the Wanderers? Aaron Calver, hero at one end and at the other as well. And Alireza Fagadi says that will do. And Aaron Calver's late strike earns Mark Ruden's team a share of the spoils. The Wanderers stem the bleeding from 5 straight losses, but it's another week without a win, and the Wanderers still without one since late October. At this point, not enough to lift them back into the top 6. Will it be enough to lift the pressure on Marcus Babbel? Conversely, a good point on the road for Western United, now 3 unbeaten, and with that run of 4 games to come in Victoria over Christmas. Good to see him smiling at the very least. At least there was no VAR drama to disappoint him tonight. They got the lead through Patrick Ziegler as late on as the 78th minute, but they just could not hang on. And the former Sydney FC defender, Aaron Calver, just sort of had to be, didn't it, really? Earned Western United a share of the spoils. That's how it finished at Bankwest. Western Sydney Wanderers 1, Western United 1. Let's go down to Adam Peacock for reaction.
Thank you, Simon. Mitch Duke, emotional week for the club. We'll get to that in a moment, but had 3 points and then you end up with 1. Your feelings around that little statistic?
Yeah, we seem to be in that moment at the moment where losing or not winning is becoming a habit, and we need to try and break that.
What was the week like? How emotional was it from a player's perspective?
Yeah, look, there was a lot of negativity obviously surrounding the club and the team and the coaching staff and things like that, but to be fair, I actually probably brought the boys closer. You know, not really caring, focusing on ourselves and kind of using it as motivation to prove a point, really.
Did you feel that it spilled over into the performance tonight, or will you only truly prove yourself when you end up walking away with 3 points from a game like this?
Yeah, definitely. To be fair, I thought with our performance, I felt the fire, the spark was kind of back. I even said that at the half-time when we got in the huddle before second half kicked off. We felt good. We felt like we were going to get the win.